Well, I hope you did well with the popular prints. Let's go through how this is going to wind up working out here, the way that I coded it. So starting with the HTML, I'm around line 44 in the HTML. And I start with a div with a class of stripe. And that will wind up being the green stripe that goes all the way across from edge to edge. We've done this now. This is the third time we've done that. We did it earlier with the footer, and then we did it with the header and the navigation. Now we're going to do it this time with the big green stripe going across the page. Then we have our section with an ID of popular because, you know, it's popular prints. And we have our series of figures and figure captions inside of an unordered list. So basically, the HTML is nothing you haven't seen before to this point in time. Now we'll take a look at the CSS. Starting here, I'm around line 188 in the ending CSS. As it says here, here's the green stripe for the popular images. As we've done before, we have our stripe. It has a background color. In this case, it's color 2. Text is a white color, and we put a little bit of padding on it so it's not running into the edges of the web page. And then, because we don't set our Flexbox in the mobile portion of the web page, that's all it's there outside of the media queries. Let's go down inside the media queries and see what we did here. So here's the big trick. We're going to start with the tablet. This is around line 327 inside of the CSS. And so what you see here is I have my, inside of the popular, ID of popular, the LI last child, we're going to set its flex basis to 100%. Stretch it all the way across the screen. Otherwise, the style right before it here where it says section LI, its flex basis is set to 49.5%, and that will take effect because we've written really nice, efficient HTML and been consistent in how we wrote our HTML through this document. Our HTML will pick up that particular style and set those first 2 images on top at, you know, roughly half the screen. And then we'll say the last child, we want it to stretch to be 100%. So that's how we get the 2 on the top and the 1 big one underneath. The problem is with that particular image of the scooter, when you go to that wide format, you'll see the top part of the picture, which is not the interesting part. We're really interested in the scooter, right? So you'll see the wallpaper and you'll see things hanging on the wall and stuff, which is lovely, but it's better if we see the bottom of the picture. So we'll take advantage of that object position feature, object position property again. And just playing around with numbers and so forth, I found that 0, negative 350 pixels moved up that image enough so that we could see some of the scooter and have more of a sense of why it was called Let's Scoot. So that's why I did that. And then finally, let's go down to the bottom here inside of our media query for the desktop. And so as I have mentioned to you before, you have to think about what you need to turn off. So right now we have 2 of those LIs that have a width of about half. We have 1 that has a width of about 100%. We need to change all of that. So here on line 380, the section LI, and popular LI last child, you need all of that in order to override what comes before. We set that flex basis to about 1/3. And then finally, down at the bottom, that last figure, we reset the object position property back to 0 again so that the image doesn't completely scroll off the screen and we have a great big huge gaping hole. We've put the picture back down into the frame appropriately.